Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the Korean learning series. And in today's video we are going to do the section 2 part 2 of Korean grammar, which are the particles. So I've previously explained the part 1 on my channel in my last video. So if you haven't watched that, I would recommend you guys to watch it because the Korean grammar is a bit lengthy and the section 2 is particles. So it would be very easy and it would be very crystal clear to you guys if you see that part and then come back to this one, because there are a lot of particles in Korean which are very important. Like for every conversation, every situation, you need to use a particle in Korean to make sure your conversation, your statement is very sensible or it is meaningful. Okay, so let's get started with today's particles. We were at the 7th category of particles, which is the time and range markers. So basically the time and range markers are used whenever we are talking about time in Korean, like night time, daytime, or even hours in Korean. Whenever we're talking about that, we need to use these time and range markers. So which are the two time and range markers, 부터 and 가지. So first off, we will see 부터. What does 부터 means? 부터 is basically from or since in Korean, like in time, whenever we're talking about the time. So it's basically from or since, and it is a starting point of anything, like from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So like it's starting point, from or since. So 부터 is the starting point. Alright, let's see an example so it would be clear to you guys. Okay, so 수업은 3시부터 시작해요. So this means that the class starts from 3 o'clock. So this is 수업 is class and in is the topic marker. 3시 is basically 3 o'clock in Korean, and we add 시 with it whenever we're talking about like 3 o'clock. So it is 3 and this is like with it for 3 o'clock. And 부터 is basically from, and 시작 is 시작해요, starts. So it's the class starts from 3 o'clock. So we are using 부터 here because we are talking about from. So got it? Now another example if we see is basically 저는 아침부터 공부했어요. I studied from the morning. 저는 is I, 아침 is the morning, 부터 is from, and 공부했어요 is like I studied. So it's I studied from the morning. So it's like from here. So it's 부터 we are using here. Then up next we have is 가지, is the second time marker. So 가지 means until or up to, and it is the ending point. Like we talked about 부터, which is the starting point. Now 가지 is the ending point. You will get a clear idea of it after I tell you guys and explain you guys the example over here. So the example is 저는 아침 9시부터 저녁 6시까지 일해요. I work from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. So 저는 is I, 아침 is morning and it is used as for am, and 9 is 아홉 in Korean, and she is like I told you guys for that, it's always with it whenever we are talking about time. 부터 is like from 9 a.m. and 저녁 is basically for p.m., which is means evening or night. So 여섯 is basically 6 in Korean. 6시까지 is until 일해요. 일해요 is like work. So I work from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. I hope this is clear because we're talking about, we're using both of them, like 부터 and 가지, from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. So this is the starting point as we talked about 부터. This is the ending point, which is 가지. So I hope it is clear to you guys. If you still have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. I'm always there for you. So this was the time and range markers. There are like 2 markers, and then we're moving on to the reason cause markers. Let's see them. So the reason and cause markers are also, 라서, 니까. So basically, let's see them one by one. For also and also, they're technically same, just a little difference that whenever the word is ending with an a or o, we use aso. Other than that, we always use also. So aso and also basically means because, so, or and then. This is like all it means, and it is always used with a verb and adjective in Korean. Whenever we use aso and also, we use it with the verb and adjective, and it means because, so, and then. That's it. So basically the example is 배가 고파서 밥을 먹었어요. So 배가 is like, whenever we say we're hungry, we're talking about like stomach. So 배 is like stomach. 고파서, we're using aso over here because gopa is like hungry. So here it is ending with an a. So that's why we're using aso over here, because it is ending with a a. So it's aso and it's a combined, we say 고파서. And 밥을 is like, you know, eat or meal, and 먹었어요 is like ate, second form of ate. So I was hungry, so I ate. So it's like using here also as so. Alright. If we see another example we have over here is 많이 먹었어 배가 아파요. So it means I ate a lot, so my stomach hurts. 많이 is a lot. 먹었어, we are using also because there is no a or no o here. So that's why whenever there is no a or o, we use also. Other than that, we use, whenever there is a or o, we use also. Other than that, there is always also with that. So 먹었어. 배가 is obviously, I told you guys, stomach. 아파요 is like hurts. I ate a lot, so my stomach hurts. So also over here is used as so. So that's it. I hope this example is also clear to you guys. Now we have is raso or iraso. So there is this thing that whenever the word ends with a consonant, we use a little vowel with it, like e. We use this vowel with it, raso, because the word is ending with a consonant. That's why we cannot put another consonant in front of it. So that's why we use e. Other than that, it's raso. Like whenever the word is ending with a consonant, we use iraso, and whenever the word is ending with a vowel, we use raso. So raso is basically used as so or because, and it's always used without nouns. The aso and also is used with the verb and adjective, but this is used with the nouns. So let's see an example over here. 그는 의사라서 바빠요. He's a doctor, so he's busy. So 그는 is like he, and this is like the topic marker. 의사 is a doctor, and raso. Now the word is ending with a vowel. That's why we are using raso. So he's a doctor, so he's busy. 바빠요 is like busy. So here raso is used as so, and it's added with the doctor. So it's with the noun. Alright. This is the example we have for raso. Now up next we have is nika. Basically it's the same as that whenever it ends with a consonant, we use inika, and whenever it ends with a vowel, we use nika. Whenever the word ends with a consonant, we use inika, and whenever it ends with a vowel, we use nika. So it's just simple as that. And it means because, so, and after. Basically it is just the same as so, also, and raso, but basically it gives a little like emphasis on it, the word because, and a little suggestion whenever we want to say something like about something, like giving a suggestion or commanding about something, we use nika because it is stronger than that. So basically, first of all, now we will see the example of it so that it will be very much clear to you guys. 맛있으니까 많이 드세요. 맛있는 is basically delicious, right? And we're using nika over here because it ends with a consonant, and 많이 is a lot, and 드세요 is for eat. So it's delicious, so please eat a lot. So this is the example we have. I hope it is clear to you guys. Now we will move on to the condition markers. We are done with the reason and cause markers. Now it's time for the condition markers. So basically there are these three condition markers: 면, 그러면, and 그럼. Basically, 그러면 and 그럼 is just the short form of 그러면. 그럼 is basically the short form of it. They're basically the same. We can say 그러면 or we can say 그럼. And 면, first of all, we will see 면 or 이면. As I've told you guys, e is there because whenever it ends with a consonant, we use 이면, and whenever it ends with a vowel, we just use 면. So basically, it's 면 if or when. Whenever we want to use if or whenever we want to use when, we use 면. So let's see the example over here. 비가 오면 집에 있을 거예요. If it rains, I will stay home. 비가 is basically B is rain and 가 is the subject marker. O is like whenever like rain comes, we say that. We say that like Y or Va or O. So 오면, if rain comes, if it rains. 집에, 집 is basically home. 집 있을, 있을 like to be. So like I will stay home. Okay, 거예요 is basically for the future tense. If it rains, I will stay home. Basically, if you get the tenses right, you will get the whole sentence right. So the tenses are also the part of Korean grammar, and I'm going to explain the tenses as well in my other videos when I'm going to post in future. So stay tuned for that, because that will be very, very helpful for you guys to know how and what kind of sentence that is, like if it's a past, future, or present tense. So yeah, now let's see 그러면. Basically, 그러면 means in that case, then, or if so. So it means this. Now let's see an example of it. 한국에 가고 싶어요. It means I want to go to Korea. 한국에 가고 싶어요. And now we are using 그러면, like then. 한국어를 공부해. Then study Korean. 공부 is basically study, and 한국어 is Korean language. So 그러면 한국어로 공부해. Like I want to go to Korea, then study Korean. So we are using 그러면 in the sense of then now here. Now this is all for the condition and markers, because like if you're gonna use 그러면, you can use 그럼 as well, because that's the same. So that's it for the condition markers. I hope it is clear as well to you guys. Moving on to the 10th category of the particles is basically the connectors. So first of all, the connectors are basically used to connect sentences together. Like whenever we want to connect a sentence with something like but, then, and, or, although, we use the connectors. So the first connector is ko. Ko means and then. It just definitely means and then. Ko means and then. Now let's see an example. 방금 먹어 우유를 마셔요. Let's see the example of ko. 방금 먹어 우유를 마셨어요. 방금 먹어. Now let's see the example of ko. 방금 먹어 우유를 마셨어요. So it's basically 방 is bread. I ate bread and drank milk. Mok is basically eat, and ko here is used to connect these two, that I ate bread and drank milk, and it is working as and over here. So I ate bread and drank milk. That's it. Now we're moving on to the second connector we have is jiman. Jiman basically means but or although. Let's see an example of jiman. 작지만 예뻐요. It's small but pretty. So 작다 is basically small. Moving on to the second connector we have over here is jiman. Jiman basically means but or although. Let's see the example of jiman is 작지만 예뻐요. It's small but pretty. So 작다 is basically small, and jiman is over here used as but, and 예뻐요 is pretty. So it's small but pretty. Now the other connector we have is 거나. 거나 basically means or. So 거나 is or. Let's see the example of 거나. 커피를 마시거나 차를 마셔요. So I drink coffee or tea. Coffee is basically coffee. Mashi is like drink. Kona is or. and charil is cha is jai ja ja. So the next connector is kona, and kona basically means or. So that's it. Let's see the example of kona. Kopiril mashi kona, charil moshoyo. So basically I drink coffee or tea. So coffee is basically coffee, mashi is drink, kona or, it's working as or over here, cha is tea, and mashoyo is drink. So I drink coffee or tea. Now the other connector is imyeonso. Imyeonso or myeonso. Imyeonso is used whenever the word is ending with a consonant, and myeonso is used whenever it is ending with a vowel. So it's myeonso. So it means while and also at the same time. So whenever we want to use while, we use myeonso. Now let's see the example of myeonso. 밥을 먹으면서 TV를 보아요. So I watched TV while eating. Ignore all this, it was just a mistake. So yeah. So 밥 is basically like anything meal or something. 먹 is eat. And imyeonso we are using because it's ending with a consonant. So imyeonso while. TV is TV, and po is basically watch. So I watch TV while eating. So this is the example. I hope it is clear as well. Now we are moving on to our last connector, which is ninde. I hope you guys have heard it a lot in Korean because it is very casual and very commonly used in Korean. It means but, though, and so. Let's see the example. 맛있는데 비싸요. It's tasty but it's expensive. So 맛있는 is like tasty. 는데, we're attaching 는데 with this, and basically 비싸 is expensive. So 맛있는데 비싸요. It's tasty but expensive. So it was last connector. So the 11th category of particle are quoting or reporting speech. So for quoting and reporting speech, we have two kinds, which are the direct quoting or indirect quoting. So first off, we will start off with the direct quoting. So indirect quoting, whenever you want to say that somebody said this to me or somebody said that, so you're exactly quoting the same words the person said. So you use 라고 하다. 라고 하다. So for that, you use 라고 하다 always. Whenever you're saying the exact same words of another person, you say 라고 하다. You put 라고 하다 with it. Let's see an example. 엄마가 밥 먹자 라고 했어요. Mom said let's eat. So basically you're quoting the exact same words of your mom. So you're putting 라고 했어요, that in the past tense it's 했어요. That's why you're putting 라고 here. So 밥 is basically like eat, meal. So 먹자 is let's eat. So 엄마 is mom. So 엄마가 밥 먹자 라고 했어요. So that means mom said let's eat. So whenever you're saying the exact same words of a person that said to you, you always use 라고 하다. And in the past form, it's 라고 했어요. Okay, so moving on to indirect quoting. So indirect quoting, you always use 라고 하다 for verbs and adjectives, and for nouns, you use 라고 하다. Okay, so here in this case, we always use 라고 하다 with nouns. Even though for direct quoting we also use 라고 하다, and for indirect quoting for nouns we use 라고 하다. And e comes here whenever the word ends with a consonant, we use 이라고 하다, and whenever it ends with a vowel, you use 라고 하다 for indirect quoting. Let's see an example of both of them. 선생님이 학생이라고 했어요. The teacher said that he is a student. So we are using here 이라고 하다 because the 학생 is the student and it is a noun. So we are using 이라고 했어요 here with the noun. As I've told you guys, we have to use 라고 하다 or 이라고 하다 for nouns. So yeah, we're indirect quoting here, but we're still using 라고 하다 or 이라고 하다 for nouns. Now let's see for the verb and adjectives. Example here is 의사 is a doctor. 괜찮다고 했어요. The doctor said that it is okay. So basically we're using 다고 했어요 with the adjective over here, which is okay. 괜찮 is basically 괜찮아 is okay. So 괜찮 is okay. So we are using 다고 했어요 with it, or 다고 하다. We are using 다고 하다 here, but in the past form it becomes 다고 했어요. That's it. I hope you guys understood this example as well. So this was the example of indirect coding. We use 다고 하다 or 라고 하다 for nouns. So let's move on to our next category of the coding and reporting speech, which are the questions. Now there is a special form of particle which is used for the questions, which is 냐고 하다. Whenever you want to explain someone or tell someone that somebody asked me this, you always put 냐고 하다. So let's see an example of it. 엄마가 밥 먹었냐고 했어요. Mom asks if I ate. So here mom is asking a question and you're telling somebody, right? So 엄마 is mom, 밥 is like meal, 먹었 here is like ate, 냐고 했어요. We are using 냐고 했어요 with the eating part, which is the verb. So 냐고 했어요 means like we're asking a question. Somebody asked a question. So whenever you're coding a question that somebody asked you, you always put 냐고 했어요. It becomes 먹었 because this is like 받침 rule. That's why. Now let's move on to the next one, which is for command and request. Now for command and request, we always use 라고 하다. Every single time whenever we say that somebody told me to do this or somebody sent me to do this, it's a command or it's a request, we use 라고 하다. So let's see. 엄마가 숙제 하라고 했어요. Now mom told me to do homework. 엄마 is mom. 숙제 is basically homework, 숙제하다, and 라고 here is used for the command that mom said that to do my homework. So that's why we are using 라고 하다 or 라고 했어요 here. Alright, I hope it is clear to you all. Moving on, we have for proposal, the coding speech or reporting speech, like whenever we use let's, when somebody said us to do something together, so or like that for a proposal, we always use jago hada. Jago hada is always used whenever we are telling that somebody suggested me to do this, somebody asked me to do, like somebody said let's do this or that. So we always use jago hada. Let's see the example. 친구가 같이 자고 했어요. My friend suggested we go together. So we are here like proposing or suggesting something that let's do this together. So that's why we are using 자고 했어요. That's it. Now we are left with just last category of particle, which is the sentence final endings. Sentence final endings are very, very important because it just tells us that if we are talking to our friend, to our family member, or to our senior or somebody, senior person at all. So for formal and polite ending there are, and there are informal endings as well. So first of all, we will see the formal and polite endings. That are 입니다 or 씁니다. These are most formal endings, and whenever we are using this, we are actually talking to somebody elder than us, like somebody older or elder person, or we are talking about it in TVs, representations, or somebody like in a meeting or something like that. So we are always using these for like polite and formal speech. 저는 학생입니다. I am a student. Okay, so we are using 입니다 over here. That shows us that we are talking to somebody in a formal way. Then we have 아요, 오요, and 해요 are basically the polite and everyday speeches. Like whenever we want to say something very politely, everyday casual speech, we always use 아요, 오요, or 해요. So 저는 학생이에요. I am a student. So that is very polite ending we are doing over here. We are using 이에요. Whenever the word ends with a consonant, we use 이에요 every single time. For a polite ending, whenever the word ends with a consonant, we use 이에요. Now let's see another example. 밥 먹었어요. over here that means I ate, so we are also using a polite ending oil here. That's it. Now we are moving on to the informal, which are basically between our friends and the casual people of our age, fellows and all that. We talk to them very informally, so then we use it, which are a, o or he. Like at the end of the word or at the end of the sentence, we just put a, o or he. Let's see an example. 나 학생이야. That means I'm a student and we're just talking casually, informally to somebody. So this was the end of the particles of Korean grammar. I hope it is all clear to you guys. If you still have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. I'll be there for you guys. So that was the end of the section 2 of Korean grammar. We will move on to the section 3 and I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, take care and bye.